Okay. Hey, everybody, this is a Trillionaire meeting, and we're here with Shakti Gopalan from Chennai, India, joining me to talk about music, politics, really just a docetory conversation. And I'm going to just wing it and see where it goes. Yeah, for sure. All right, now we can get
Awesome.
back to the juice. How you doing today?
I'm good, Nate. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
It's all good. Yeah, it's interesting. I think this is the coolest thing ever to be able to talk to you in India. It's 2:09 p.m. over there right now.
Yeah, it's 2:30 p.m., like in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah,
I
that's pretty cool.
think
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
fantastic.
it's
Yeah, I think it's
1:09.
awesome that we can connect this way.
Yeah, it's super cool. So, how's it been in Chennai since COVID? Like the first, if you could think back to like January, February, uh, March, April of 2020. Like, what
Yeah.
was like your first reactions when stuff started to get strange and that kind of
Oh
thing?
man. Yeah, it was crazy. When we obviously when we first started seeing it on the news, I don't think anyone realized, it's gonna hit us this way or of this magnitude. And I still remember we were at a jam with the band, and we took a little break, and we were all chatting, and we were like, man, like we don't know what's going to happen. But we didn't really, at that moment, we didn't realize that it's going to be like no concerts for like an amount of time and all of those things, right? Like it didn't really, we never really knew that it was going to be. And I remember vividly us talking about COVID and what this means, and the fact that it was an epidemic at that point, and it had not really reached the pandemic level.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot even imagine, because we did. I had a concert that happened like in the first week of March, when things were still okay, and it was not, the country hadn't gone into lockdown at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And like 2 weeks from then, it was, or like within a week after that, it was like a nationwide lockdown. And we had like so many nations like around the world that were going into lockdown, and industries were shut and everything, like life as we knew it like came to a standstill.
Yeah,
So
it was. Yeah.
it was I mean, it was nuts, right? I mean, we never thought that we would witness something like this, or live through something like this. And it's just incredible, and it's so sad how so many people have lost their lives and livelihoods, and uh, through this entire year. And I mean, apart from this, there was so many other crazy things that were happening through 2020, right? Like it's just
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
now.
definitely a strange year.
Yeah, and even, I mean, with California, with the from everything from the fires to
Yeah.
all that's been happening in the country. Like it's been a time of political unrest, and uh, a lot of. I also feel like there has also been a lot of revolution. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like everything kind of was bubbling and simmered, and people have been like taking charge of things and all of that. So I feel like, I mean, as tragic as it is, and as so many, there has been so much loss and suffering. But at the same time, I'm telling myself, like, maybe this would reset things somehow. Maybe this will change things for the better. Maybe people will start realizing that we need to do better than this, and that we here is a chance for us to at least make it right,
Yeah.
for at least the future. And like, not just continue on autopilot like how we have been all of these years.
Yeah, for sure. So how does the US look from over there? Because I'm in the US, so it's like I'm in it, but like you get like an outside perspective, or you can kind of see us from a distance. Like, does it look crazy, or does it look like a reality TV show over there, or just like the
Yeah, pretty
perspective?
much. Pretty much all of that, I would say.
Yeah,
I mean, so the thing is, yeah, I mean, obviously, like what's been happening in the political climate of the
yeah,
US has definitely been a topic of big conversation, I'm sure, around the world.
yeah.
And I mean, like you, I have like family and friends there, and which I've who've all been eagerly anticipating positive change, and for things to change for the better.
Yeah.
And especially with what's happened with the Black Lives Matter movement, and
Hmm.
so many artists also giving their voice to, spreading awareness. And I really resonate with, injustice anywhere is, injustice to all of mankind, and that, we need to really stand up. I really resonate with those words, and I think that every single one of us need to come together, because uh, if there is a problem that is affecting one community, or like, one ethnic group, or one gender, or anything, it's not an isolated problem. It is the problem of the society, right? It is the problem of the civilization. And it is our collective responsibility to fix this. It is our collective responsibility to make it better. And
Yeah.
I think as artists, it is, it's like, it's so powerful how we have the opportunity to channelize all of this into, into the work and into the medium that we create. So as a repercussion of what has happened, like, because of, how much momentum and how much visibility, the Black Lives Matter movement, and uh, all of that was happening on social media was gaining, as I feel like a lot of people in India also started, responding to how, there has been a lot of caste based discrimination in India.
Hmm.
And people have, I think it has also, uh, uh, people also started talking more about it, how there has been, police brutality towards certain people from certain castes and things like that. And I feel like when you start seeing change in any one place, like, it's like a ripple effect, right? Like, it inspires change in other places, and it inspires change in so many other ways in which we don't even imagine.
Yeah.
So so as much as, a lot of it seems like, uh, of course, I don't know if it is soon to, say that it looks, if it is too soon to say that it looked almost like a reality TV, but it was unbelievable, like so many of the things that were happening.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
what?
see it as reality TV for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, what is this really, is this really happening? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. That was mostly my reaction to a lot of the stuff that was going on, and I was like, no way.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is reality TV. I think being in music entertainment, you just kind of see things the way other people don't see it. Just knowing
Uh-huh.
how videos are edited, you know, can screw you up a little bit. Or just knowing how we make music and stuff, like how we can like take 17 vocal takes and chop them up and that sort of thing. Just like
Oh man,
seeing that
that's
process makes you see everything
uh-huh.
else a lot different. Yeah.
Wow. Oh no, that is a very interesting perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Like I mean, they can edit everything. They can make it look a certain way. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, you can take the same footage and then two different people with it can tell two different stories with the same exact footage, depending on how they put it together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hear you. And that is powerful actually, to have that insight and that perspective, right? Like, when information can be twisted in so many ways to
Yeah.
tell the narrative that, you want to say, right? Like,
Yeah. You
and it,
ever oh my bad, what were you gonna say?
sorry.
What were you gonna say? My bad, I had accidentally cut you off.
Oh no, I was saying that is actually a powerful perspective, and it's crazy how information can be twisted in so many different ways to support the narrative that you want to say. And in today's, digital age, when information is so weaponized, you don't
Yeah.
even know what to believe anymore, right? Like, I don't even know what to say, what to think of the news. I'm like, okay, this is the news, but whose story am I, subscribing to, or whose story am I being fed, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who or what to believe anymore. Like, it's so bizarre. It's like such a disillusioned state of living. I don't. Do you feel the same way? Like, what do you think about the news, or what do you feel when check out the
Uh,
news these days?
well, I'm learning more and more that everything is mostly about money. So
Yeah,
whatever's gonna sell and make money and stuff is what they're gonna put out there. So I know it's like mostly some money game. And
yeah.
with like the other stuff though, like you have you ever like you do like you've been through like the branding process before, like when you're
What do you
like
mean?
marketing and branding.
Marketing and branding
Yeah.
for
For
my own self?
yeah, your own stuff, or it could be for like a T-shirt or or a song or something.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent I understand, because I feel like we're also it is weird, right? Like I had to kind of get acclimatized to the idea of marketing,
Hmm.
because it was no longer enough to make something and put it
Yeah.
on a shelf. But it became necessary to say that, hey, I have made something and it's on the shelf right now, to
Yeah.
kind of announce that and to go that extra mile. And initially it used to be something that didn't come naturally to me, and I don't think it still does. It is something that I have to put in an extra effort for, because as a person or as an artist, I don't really, it's not something that that is in me to naturally go and do that. Like I feel like most of the times I'm just quietly chipping away at something, or I get so engrossed
Yeah.
in the process of making something. I'm like, I just want to make this, and I
Yeah.
get so happy just working on it, that the rest of it I don't really necessarily think about. But I've realized that it is a necessity now, and it's part of the whole process of actually putting a song out there, or putting an album out there or whatever. So I'm just looking at it as, sometimes you have to uh, go through some stuff, like if there is like a hurdle or an obstacle or a difficulty that you have to go through
Hmm.
to get to the top of the mountain, right, where you can enjoy that view and you can take in that beautiful sunset.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
For sure.
I'm just looking at it like that. Like, sometimes, okay, it doesn't come naturally to me. Okay, so then I need to put in more effort and do this. And I need to go out there and do this, because there might be someone out there who wants to listen to my music, but just doesn't know about it, because I haven't taken the opportunity and the time to say, hey, you know what? I've made this song and it's out there on the shelf right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I need to do that, like I really need to do that. And plus, you have so much content out there, right? Like, and I mean, you have it's an explosion of content and
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah. For sure.
So
There's a
many
lot of
different
stuff
things.
out there. Yeah. But I
Absolutely.
was bringing up the marketing and branding part because and also I'm bringing it up because like sometimes you meet famous people and they're nothing like you thought they were, or like or
Okay.
like sometimes not even like necessarily a bad thing. Like you probably thought they were like this super dark or sort of person, but then that's the
Okay.
way they're presented to the public. But then like they may be like the happiest person ever. That's just the persona that they put into the public.
Oh
That's
yeah,
one thing, but they're not like that at all. I was thinking about that with like the like the campaigns and stuff. Like some
yeah,
of these people may be total different people without that's just a persona they got out there. And then they also do this they all like the marketing process is like who is our target audience, what age are they, where would they shop at, and
yeah,
what kind of cars would they drive, and then they gear their entire campaign to that
yeah,
group of people, even if that's not what they're into or what they are.
yeah.
So that's how I look at the presidents and stuff. Like we all never met them before. They could all be cool. Maybe they could be bad, but you know how they're presented may not even be how they are. That might just be their campaign to get a certain group of people riled up or to follow them or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's all part of like a curated image, right? Like you're saying, it's been packaged and positioned to appear a certain way,
Hmm.
so that who will buy this. Like let's coat this with sugar, so that more uh, young people will dig into this, or something like that. I hear what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, it could be like that. Like
And
they could all be like total different people. You know?
yeah, absolutely. And I completely get what you're saying, and it is happening, and it is a scary thing,
Yeah.
because again, like it goes into this whole thing of, what do we believe anymore, right? What we are seeing, is it real, or is it not, or is it just part of this whole uh, thing that we are that's being sold to us, right, as consumers at our end.
Yeah.
And and we are all consumers, right? Like, I mean, whether we like it or not, there is so much that we get exposed to on an everyday basis, that we don't, without even us realizing, we are being fed information. We are being sold things. We are
Yeah.
being sold ideas, we are being sold personalities, we are being sold commodities, everything, without even consciously realizing that. And it's scary. Like, and when you were
Yeah.
saying this, I was thinking, how crazy is it? Somebody, no, don't cry. It's not part of your image. You have to keep smiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do not shed a tear. Like, that would be
Yeah.
like so, yeah, so insane and so psychotic.
Yeah.
But I want to believe at some level that at least with artists,
Hmm.
I want to believe that I mean, at least I want to I don't know if this is naive or if it is like being too hopeful or whatever, but I still want to believe that there is some part of them that you can it's like their music and the things that they create, I feel like reflect something from their inside, that you can, I mean, there can be a crazy amount of marketing or branding or all of these packaging things,
Hmm.
but I would like to believe that when someone creates something with honesty, you can actually feel that and sense that, and okay, this is something that someone created with honesty, and it embodies their genuine human emotion. and i
Yeah, for
and i
sure.
really
Yeah.
want to believe, and I can say this about artists, but about everything else, like I don't really know anymore.
Yeah. I think the stuff that sticks around the longest. Sometimes I think the stuff that probably kind of came and went is probably the phony baloney stuff. But like
Yeah.
songs that we're still listening to from the '60s and stuff, those were probably the real honest ones.
Yeah, the real
Yeah.
deal. I like
Yeah.
that phony baloney. I'm gonna use that.
Funny baloney. That's a that's a old person. That's probably something that an old person out here would say.
Okay.
Yeah, funny baloney. But yeah, how was the creative process when things were locked down and stuff? Were you like recording music or being creative in that time?
Yes, I think for me it was like music became like salvation. Like it was literally like I like literally ran into the shed and took shelter under this. It really felt like that for me because I was not able to handle like what I was seeing on the news and everything that was happening, here and everywhere around the world. Like it's not from a place of being apathetic, but it comes from a place of, I think I feel too much, in the sense that it really hits me hard and it really puts me down in the dumps. And I went through that like for a while, like when lockdown had rolled out, like uh, I mean, like I think telling you earlier, so many people over here were really suffering and
Hmm.
going through a lot of stuff, and there was literally nothing I could do to help, or there was very little that I could do as an individual human being to help, and that really feels helpless. And you were in a situation where you can't even step out. You're asked to not step out of your home, but
Yeah.
there are people outside who are really suffering and who need help. And so I mean, what do you do, right? It's such a strange time, and like I feel like it this the news was affecting me more and more, and like there was so many negative thoughts, and so many negative things and like toxic things that were happening. But I do feel like with regards to everything outside of, with regards to COVID itself, of course there was so much human loss and suffering, and lives were lost, livelihoods were lost. And but outside of this also, there were so many things that were happening which I hope will lead to change, and which I hope will lead to better times ahead. And at some point, I decided to distance myself from the news, like not be so overexposed to it, that I was being bombarded with so much stimulus, like for the mind. It was
Yeah.
like it was a state of unrest. So I decided to kind of step away for a little while, and uh, take my own space, so to say, away from the news
Yeah.
and like social media and stuff. And it was like, okay, like I had to just do that. And then I was able to just zone into music, and like work on songs and my original productions, and uh, the songwriting itself. And I felt like it was a amazing way, or an outlet for me, for my emotions and everything that I was going through, to just be able to do that.
Yeah.
And all around the world, I think there was so many artists who've been releasing so much amazing music, and such amazing art through 2020. Like it kind of opened doors for a lot of collaborations. I think people were like, okay, what do we have to lose now, right? Like
Yeah,
just started collaborating across the country, across the globe, and people are like, let's do this. Like, what do we have to lose?
yeah,
which I think was the beautiful thing that also happened through 2020. And like, artists, I think, became, and outside of the artist community, I think people started turning a lot more to music, for their peace of mind, or to literally take refuge. I feel like a lot of people started uh, turning their focus to music and the arts and movies and everything, because there was nothing else we could do to channelize our energies through the lockdown. And I think that became, art definitely became a much more powerful entity, I think, through 2020,
yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, that's super cool. So you're
What
into
do you feel? How was your journey through, through the lockdown and through 2020, working on your music and everything else?
it was pretty productive. I ain't gonna lie. It's been really really productive. I think the positive thing was when during the lockdown, it's like I got a chance to spend a lot of time with my family and like talk
Awesome.
and kind of learn new stuff about each other, stuff like that. So that was pretty
That's
cool.
amazing.
And then yeah, the studio was pretty open. Like like literally the calendar. I watched my entire calendar for like the next 2 months clear.
Oh
So
wow,
it was just pretty open. And then
that must have been crazy.
yeah, it was pretty weird. But I just pretty much did a bunch of stuff that I've been meaning to do. And just yeah, got a lot of that stuff done. Like read a few books. I finished
Nice.
up an entire album over the year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was like a ton of songs. It's like yeah, we recorded like a ton of music. Just it was pretty good. And then uh yeah, pretty much that. Oh yeah, and I started this podcast too. So that was pretty
Yeah, that
cool.
is. I think
Yeah.
that it's really awesome. Like, I mean, I think it's really awesome that you've been, doing a lot of these things. And I know you released a video recently also, which is like really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was a video
And
being fed grapes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but that was so cool. I feel like, yeah, I mean, like, why not? And I mean, it's awesome that you were able to, productively create so much, right?
Yeah, it was really
During a
cool.
time of
Yeah.
crisis.
It's just cool to have something to show for. Like my entire YouTube channel, I started at the beginning of the year, and it's just good to see that you can like see all the work that you've been doing, like have something to show for, and that's been pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, mostly that stuff. Yeah, all of that good stuff.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I think even for me, like YouTube was great. Like I super missed like jamming with the band and doing concerts, or having the opportunity to perform live and engage and connect with a live audience, which
Yeah,
is which is total magic, right? Like when people sing along, or we are all connected in that collective energy in one
hmm,
space in that moment in time. I think it's definitely a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I really miss that. And for me, like there's always been songs that I've wish listed, like even whether it's covers, or my own music or whatever, like that I've been like, okay, I'll work on it. Like it's always been on a list, so it was really nice to I would jam with this friend of mine who's a brilliant, I mean, he's a super talented keyboard player. His name is Bhuvanesh, and we
okay,
started we started releasing music on YouTube. Like every month we were putting out stuff, and I think it became a new way to kind of connect with the audience, and stay engaged, and stay and do that, which was really nice. And I think with people sending in requests, and it the whole ecosystem changed, right? And like even with like the online like performances, like through Instagram, or through these live, Facebook live and things like that,
yeah,
it became so different, where we would see like comments coming up as responses, or like as to performing a song versus actually getting to see the people and hear them and feel them. So it
okay,
was
yeah,
it I think that also like really it was it definitely was strange to get used to that.
yeah,
And I don't think I'm still used to that, if I'm being honest. It is very different performing to a screen versus performing to
yeah. It is
actual
pretty
people, if you
weird.
know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely super weird. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
definitely the
it
future. Like last year was like, whoa, we're in the future.
is. Yeah, right. It's like we just fast forwarded all the way to being there and to actually seeing like so many artists performing from their living rooms, right? Like from around
Yeah,
the world. Like it was crazy for sure. But I mean, it's
yeah,
it's amazing how we have the technology to be able to do that, right? Also,
yeah. It
that's
would have
just
been.
that's
Yeah,
just
this is like the. If this would have happened any other time, it would have probably been a lot crazier. Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Without the technology and stuff. Are you still doing architecture, like studio architecture?
Yes, I am. Like of course, through 2020, like a lot of things have slowed down. I mean, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
But definitely, like I'm still like doing projects, like especially like projects that are like around music and like spaces around music and creative arts. That is something I'm really passionate about and that I like to focus on. So
Okay.
I've been working on a few projects in that space as well.
That's super
But the
cool.
thing is, it's also like kind of all things have slowed down in the sense now I think people are also ready to take some more time to get something right instead of just rushing and doing into things because they're like, okay, I mean, we have time, let's just to ideate and work on the concept and the idea, and how can we make this better before we actually take things to ground and just roll it out. I think
Yeah.
that is definitely a good thing. Like I think maybe it's given people the opportunity to also see that that pre-production phase or whatever, like be it music videos or be it music or even architecture or like actual designs that need to you know uh, before you begin construction and lay things in the ground. Like I think it's given people the opportunity to say, okay, let's put pen to paper and see how else we can make this better we before we realize it.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So yeah, which is nice because usually I think like we've been in this constant state of rush, like we've been in that momentum where okay, next, go 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 go, and then like 2020 hit us and it just made us stop and like think for a bit.
Yeah.
So like hold on, okay, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's super cool. Where are you on the since you do design and you're an artist, where are you on the art versus design spectrum?
What do you mean art versus design?
Like art like free realm, like you just painting how you feel, and design is
Uh-huh.
like let's fit into this structure or this formula,
Yeah, I
more
think
mathematical.
yeah, I think it's all part of one for me, and I feel like the beauty of architecture is it's kind of brings these two sides together because there is so much that if we are not calculating and if we are not processing and left up to our own free creative will, if the possibilities are endless, we can go crazy. And like if we are left up to trusting just our intuition and our gut and just going with that flow, or that uh, that uh, that flow of that creative process, I think there's so many amazing things that can come out, right? Like that sense of play that we have.
Hmm.
It's literally like playing with play-doh. Like we can just go crazy and it can be an alien monster that we are making, or we can make like little elephants or whatever we want. And I think the beauty of architecture as a design process is to be able to allow yourself to travel through that sense of play, and to let your mind uh, be open and not restrict it, or not have boundaries on it, and to allow yourself to explore that, and then see how can you channelize or tap into that when it comes to real life spaces and real life requirements of, there are actual requirements that this space needs to do this, and the square feet and the thing and like all the functional elements. How can you be inspired from the first thing of this sense of play and the sense of inspiration, and then draw from that? And I feel like the design is a function of the art.
Hmm.
It is a way for us to tap into the artistic spirit and an artistic or like the creative mind, and to realize our human practical functional needs. And like you see, like there's so much beauty in design and architecture when this process has successfully happened, or when translation has happened, when there is minimal loss in translation, I think that's when the design is really beautiful. Or like, in architecture, you see so much beauty in what's actually happened,
Yeah, that's super cool.
right?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you like put those two together like that. So which
Yeah,
which side which side do you lean? Like, would you say you're like 50%, like right in the middle? Or do you like lean more towards one side of it at all?
I don't
Like,
know. I
you
think
lean on the
it's
art side?
that I don't know. I think it's a tough one. I think it's probably it's going to be on a case to case basis.
Hmm.
It's probably going to be one, I mean, something more over the other. Like with architecture, like sometimes there are spaces where, the functionality really is supreme, right? Like, and everything else like comes secondary. Like when it comes to the uh there are certain aspects where, you have to, okay, put that play aside for a little while or whatever. But I like to parallelly approach things, like side by side. I think it's the inspiration that fuels everything else.
Hmm.
I feel like the energy to go through the whole, the clinical aspect of it, I think like my batteries are charged from like the inspiration, like, or where I draw that inspiration from. So I don't really think there is a balance point. I think it'll keep fluctuating from like, project to project, or from design to design always.
That's super super cool. I'm looking for you just said inspiration. I'm looking for this thing and this book down here. Let me see. Let me see. This dude said something pretty interesting about his take on
Okay.
inspiration. Let me see. I think I highlighted it. Uh, I cannot find this right now. It was along the lines of. I want to read the exactly what he said though.
Uh-huh.
Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. I should have highlighted. I don't think I highlighted it.
What book is it
Poems,
from,
vision.
if I may ask?
It's called Improvising Jazz by Jerry Cocker.
Oh, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but this guy was talking about he had a different take on inspiration, and then it was just interesting.
You know what is really cool? I think this just, okay, wow. Okay, so I think like a lot of jazz musicians,
Hmm.
I feel like this sense of play and design, I think it's an immaculate sense of balance, right? Like they
Hmm.
let themselves be completely liberated of any sort of like boundaries of anything, and they actually like fully allow themselves to creatively, I think they have creatively liberated themselves. Like so many incredible jazz musicians,
Yeah,
to allow themselves to play and like, be free and like actually like just go crazy and have fun, but at the same time know where and when to, you know uh, present it within a construct of an overall like a macro design.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
for
think
sure. Yeah,
it's,
they definitely did. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's amazing. I'm not surprised that, I'm it's amazing that that it comes from a jazz musician about, I don't know if this is along the lines of art and design, like what you were looking at, the quote on
Hmm.
inspiration. But I mean,
Hmm.
but what does it say exactly?
Let me see. So I think I found it right here. It says there are a number of myths which, thereby weed like persistence, contribute much to the controversy surrounding the subject of teaching jazz and its characteristic techniques. One of these is the myth that was borrowed from classical music and, in a slightly refurbished form, applied to jazz. This myth consists of the unfortunate, I thought I said uniform, unfortunate notion that the creation of music is a vague, nebulous act fundamentally outside the control of the creator, that is, the composer, and that there is a state called inspiration, which periodically descends from above, being granted only to those composers who, for equally nebulous reasons, are especially endowed to receive such inspirations. And it says, corollary of this fantasy is that such ingredients as thought and work, in fact, any intellectual activity, whatever, are anathema to true artistic creativity. And let me see where it says, he said, like, see the thinking. Oh, it says, indeed, until quite recently, if one dared to suggest that King Oliver or Charlie Parker did some kind of thinking before, during, or after a given solo about that solo, one was ostracized and spoiled sport. A spoiled sport. It says taking all the fun out of jazz, or that at the very least, as not. Let me see. Let me try that again. Fun out of jazz, or at the very least, as not very hip. Solos were thought to be full blown from the mouth and fingers of the player without the benefit of any such as the brain. Okay. And I'm still looking for that part. Okay, the deception is what. As a matter of fact, I'm going to highlight it right now. As a matter of fact, this is taking a little while.
Yeah,
Dang
oh, but this is amazing what you read out, because I mean, and I think it takes, I mean, it takes someone to know, like I mean, I feel like when I hear a lot of jazz musicians, they have managed to somehow absorb and understand everything,
it. Mm-hmm.
and then to also be at a place where you are not being restricted by what you know, right? Like, and not being restricted, or not putting yourself within that boundary of what you know. And I think that takes a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge to be able to do that, right? To learn everything and then to unlearn and then to do what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I learned this stuff. Yeah, for sure. Like learning and then kind of like forgetting about it, sort of that
Yeah,
kind of thing. So it
yeah,
says
that's amazing.
this.
And I feel like with, I mean, with music in general, like I feel like we have to do this. Like, I mean, it's such a cool topic. Like, I mean, I've never thought of it this way, but I really, I think with, I mean, so much of music is comes from, you know, I mean, at least for me, the genesis is the feeling of wanting to express or say something, but
Hmm.
then, and that is the play and the art of it, and then the design comes in where you actually put things into reality and you structure it, and then you have a form, and then you arrange and produce, and then you are conscious about how you want to voice things and how you want to, you
Yeah.
know how you use these tools and elements to convey a certain expression, right? Like, I mean, where you want the strings to come in, or what you want the voices to do, and where you want the bass and the beat, and all of these things, right? Every single ingredient goes into a conscious design of wanting to express this whole narrative, like this whole story that we're actually taking the listener on, and
Yeah.
then ourselves on, right? In a way of self-expression. And I think
Yeah, for
every
sure.
artist goes through this process, but and I feel like like in the realm of the spectrum, I feel like it becomes so amazingly vivid with jazz musicians, which is what, like, I mean, every time I see, you know uh, every opportunity that I've had to witness, like, amazingly gifted musicians playing jazz live, it's just like, I mean, it's just magic.
Yeah, it's really it's a really really cool one. Yeah, it's a super cool genre to play. And oh, hold on. Okay, here we go. It says this in turn is possible because inspiration occurs precisely at the moment when the most complete mental and psychological preparation for a given task, be it only the choice of the next note, for example, has been achieved.
Wow.
I thought that was an interesting take on what inspiration was.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to read this book.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got it for like I think I got it for like $3 on eBay.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and then it was getting ready to rip in half, but we have the Office Depot, and then you can like take a book and put a spiral through it.
Oh man, okay.
Pretty cool. Cause it kind of where
That's
you're like
awesome.
reading, where you're like reading this side of it, and then it like folds kind of weird. It's cool having the spiral. It's cool having a spiral because you could like read the left side of the book in the comfortable
Nice.
way.
I Practical book reading problems.
Yeah,
101.
But yeah, for sure. I
But
think
it's
I lean on
amazing. Like
music.
you had sorry.
My bad. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say you had recommended a book sometime back to me. All you need to know about the music
Oh yeah, the
business,
music business. Yeah,
which was fantastic, and I actually started reading it during the lockdown, right? So I had, oops, I think we got stuck. I think we froze for a while.
okay. I didn't. It didn't freeze on my end. Did it freeze on your end?
Yeah, yeah. I think it froze at mine. We're good now.
Okay.
So I actually picked it up during the lockdown, and like there were a few books on my wish list again, which I started reading, and this was one of them, and it's just blowing my mind. Right? It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how he's like put put so many things to clarity,
Yeah.
especially in this age where so much has changed in the ecosystem of music distribution and how we actually go about getting the music from the place it was created to the end listener, right? Somebody who's listening to it on their earphones or through whatever platform they're listening on.
Yeah. That model is starting to collapse too, big time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I feel like we're still in a change of, I mean, in a state of change. I feel like we're still in a change of flux. Like I feel like it's going to take a few more years before we can look back and see what exactly happened and what we have arrived at, because things have been changing so rapidly, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Super
it's
weird. Yeah. Just saying, it seems like it's just a content game now because like music, it used to just be music versus music. Like you go into a record store or something and you pick up a vinyl. Maybe you only had $10, so you can only buy one vinyl. So it used to be like, which vinyl do I get? But
Mhm.
now it's music versus Netflix movies, YouTube videos. You know,
Yeah,
like can you keep somebody listening to your song without like them scrolling through Instagram and stopping your song to watch a
yeah,
video or something? Or it's like music is competing with movies and YouTube videos and memes now. It's like instead of just music versus music.
yeah, yeah. I hear what you're saying, and it's crazy
Yeah.
to think that the music that you create is gonna go up versus a cat video.
Yeah.
You might have spent 2 years making that stuff. Or
I
four
love cat
years. I don't
videos.
know. I
Cats have
love
some
too. They're
interesting
adorable.
features. Yeah. Do you like
They're
cats?
adorable. I mean, yeah. I mean, so I never. I mean, we never had pets, right? Like, so we never. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to interact with like dogs or cats when I was little. In the sense that I mean, of course, on the street, but I mean, you're always told to like keep away and all of that. But I have a lot of friends who have cats, and I think I've now have a few cat friends and a few dog friends who are like super cute. And yeah, I mean, I get it. I could watch them all day. It is so entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Cats are very entertaining,
Yeah,
especially
and
when
I
they think
love how.
nobody is looking. The stuff they do where they think that you're like asleep or not paying attention.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they do pretty strange stuff.
Yeah, and they're so curious. They're so curious, right? Like about like every single thing, and like they like go near it, analyze it. Like you can almost hear them thinking, like, should I mess with it or should I not?
Yeah.
which is which is like just insane.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, cats are well, they're kind of domesticated. They're not as broken as dogs are, but they're still you know, yeah, they
Yeah.
just broke dog spirit down so bad. They're just
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah, but on a lighter note though. Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe this. This is the best podcast ever. We've covered everything from politics to music distribution
Yeah,
to
to
jazz
cats.
to cat videos.
Oh yeah, I think there's a cooler music business book that's you could probably find for on eBay
Okay.
used or whatever, but it's by this dude named Moses Avalon, and
Okay. I want to look it up right now.
it's called Confessions of a Record Producer, and he has another one called $1 Million Mistakes, and they're both really really good. Like they're like super easy to read. They're actually really entertaining to read. Like you're just excited to read this. It's not like let me do my reading today. It's like it's a pretty
Okay.
like easy to read book. And another thing I like about him is he's talking about it from like a producer that's been through it sort of thing, and And since
Okay.
most of the other business books are written by lawyers, lawyers aren't going to tell you about dirty lawyer stuff.
Uh-huh.
So since he's a producer, he's like telling you about all the he tells you about dirty lawyer tricks and stuff that lawyers aren't going to tell you about in their music business books.
Oh
And
man.
that's pretty
So
cool.
this is crazy. So the best way to go about this, first read about all the law. First read the lawyer books, and then
Lawyer,
read the
yeah.
producer books that talk about all the dirty lawyer tricks.
Yeah.
And then read artist books that talk about both the producers and lawyer experiences. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean,
Yeah.
any insight is great, right? Like the fact that people have taken the opportunity to share like their learned life experiences and experience working with so many different artists
Yeah.
with other artists. And I think that's amazing. And like if you have the chance to learn from someone else's lived experiences, like I mean, and the fact that they have you know uh, had the courage or taken the chance to share that with and it's so difficult to share things you failed at, right? Like, or like things that didn't go okay. Like everyone is happy to share about things that went really well and
Yeah.
highlight reels of their lives. But I think it definitely takes a lot of courage to say, okay, I went through this, it didn't work out for me, or these were the failures that I learned from. But maybe it will help you jump the queue, or catalyze your journey through this whole thing. And I think it's awesome when people decide to do that.
Yeah, it's super cool. You can like save a lot of time too, just reading
Yeah.
somebody else or even get help through a certain situation. You know,
Yes. So I'm definitely going to check that out. I think your book recommendations are amazing.
for
So
sure.
Confessions of a Record Producer, that's the
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah, and the other one is called $1 Million Mistakes. They're both by the same author. But
Okay,
they're
million.
just really, really cool.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
super
check it
cool.
out, man. Okay, I think you have given me some great three books already in this conversation that I can read on. Like that's great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, super, super cool. And then I don't know if they got audio books, but yeah, that's they may have
Yeah, I
audio
think we
books of
might.
those.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a lot faster at receiving audio information than I
Hmm.
am with like written content. Like I mean, I think I take a little more time to process written. But the thing is, the beauty about written information is it gives you an opportunity to reread it again and see it. Like every time you I mean, like some like this, like the line that you just read out, right? Like that quote. I feel like if I had come across that in my path of reading, I would have stopped and I would have read it again
Yeah.
and like actually taken a moment to let it sink in. And then probably I think that's a really good, beautiful thing about having written text and on paper, and like to be able to do that, to engage with it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it can like sink in a few different ways. Like you especially
Yeah.
sometimes even if you like read aloud, like you're saying it, hearing it, and saying it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a pretty cool part about reading.
Yes, absolutely. I think
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I'm gonna end it on a high note.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes,
really, really cool.
absolutely.
Yeah, everybody, that's your trillionaire meeting with Shakti. We gotta get another song in too. We gotta get a joint in. I've been really,
Yes.
really enjoying like orchestration and string arrangement, so that'd be really, really
Oh
cool.
man, we absolutely should. And I mean, I think you have such a beautiful energy. Like it was, I love the process of like creating something with you, and I would absolutely love to create more music. And
For sure.
and I feel like we could there's so many possibilities, right? Like to explore film and music and everything, like as a one whole thing. And like I mean, yeah, like going with the spirit of why not, right? Like
Yeah,
like
we just definitely do. I'll send over like some ideas and stuff, or if you have any like stories or anything. I like to start off with like a
awesome.
nice storyline now.
Hey, absolutely, Nate. I would love that. And this has been so amazing, like sharing this conversation with you, talking about so many different things.
Woohoo!
It's been fantastic. Woohoo! And thank you so much for these amazing book recommendations. I can't wait to get my hands on these.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, Nate. Take care and stay safe.
You too.